The last laugh is the best laugh. Motherfuckers that laughed at me, yeah, asking me for favors now. Want it done right, do it yourself, nigga. Where I'm from, you only famous when you die, nigga. The last laugh is the best laugh. Motherfuckers that laughed at me, yeah, asking me for favors now. Want it done right, do it yourself, nigga. Where I'm from, you only famous when you die, nigga. Help when I was broke, only hustle helped me bounce back.
What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? Hey yo, it's NateDoggSac916 coming at you live from Sacramento. Hey man, you know what it is, man. Hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell if you want to keep catching my content. And share my shit, man. Stop playing with me. Share my shit. But without further ado, man, today, I got a banger for you, man. So without further ado, man, what they call you, where you from?
They call me Madi, and I'm from Meadowview, California.
Madi, from Meadowview, California. First and foremost, thank you for coming on to the channel. Let's get it started, man. You say you're from Meadowview, California. So what was it like as a young little kid Madi growing up out there?
Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't called Madi until actually I got to 13. And I had ended up going to juvenile hall and shit. So that's how I ended up getting Madi, because there was two different persons. I had Maria and Madi. So the Madi was the one that was always in trouble.
Okay, so Maria was the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl that was just sitting there riding bikes and shit.
Okay, so would you say up from birth up to the point where Madi was hatched, you had a pretty good childhood?
I wouldn't say hatched, because I was always a different type of breed anyway. Right. But I was always respected. Like, I was with my parents, I always respected them, shit like that. But I always had a different mindset of everybody else. So I was kind of like a little hothead, but I still was like good at the same time.
Okay, all right. So at some point during your childhood, you decided to get out the house and explore the streets. Now, was there a specific incident that created you that caused you to start going out in the streets, or how to go down?
Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you what happened. So at 13, I ended up going to juvenile hall for robbing a pizza man, but it really wasn't me that did it. But at the end of the day, I had a part in that, because somebody decided that I was kicking it with, decided to do something, and I jumped in the crime with them. So I ended up going down for that case, because they asked me, and basically somebody told on me, but I just told them I'm not gonna tell them who really did it, and that's what made me go to juvenile hall.
So you kept your lips quiet.
Right.
Commendable. I appreciate that. So at 13, you went to juvenile hall for your first time?
Yeah.
Wow. So what was that like? What was your first experience in juvenile hall like?
Like I said, I was a different breed. So like, when they were trying to tell me to take showers and all this, and bitches was looking at me and shit, I just was like, no, I'm not doing none of that. So I'm not gonna do that. Or if they was like, okay, that's being defiant, so you're not gonna take a shower. I'm like, okay, I'll just take a bird bath. Period.
Right. Okay. So basically, juvenile hall wasn't really you wouldn't say it was life changing for you going there. You were already, your mindset didn't change at all.
No, my mindset was just to make sure that nobody disrespect me. So at the end of the day, people already knew what's up, because my attitude, how I walked, I didn't want to go in there and act like I needed friends. I'm not in here for friends. I'm here to do my time and just stay the fuck away from me. That's it.
Okay. So you get out of juvenile hall. You back. How long did you end up having to stay there for the first one?
6 months.
6 months. So you did your little 6 months. You come home. Well, 6 months is a long time for a 13-year-old, in my opinion. But
that's because I was defiant. Like, they would sit there and want to have me go to school with people that it was just hella irritated. Like, people that didn't want to wash their ass and shit. Like, I'm not sitting down by somebody that don't wash their ass. Like, you can't tell me I'm about to smell somebody else's ass just because you want me to sit in class. Bring me my homework and I'll just do it in there. Fuck it.
Right. Absolutely. So you get out.
Yep.
You still 13, or did you turn 14 while you were there?
No, I was 13.
Okay, so you hit back on the streets 13. You in the streets. Now, are you just a regular Maria, or is now Madi full force?
Nah, I was a regular Maria. Like, regular kids always have to fight and stuff like that. But, because I'm mixed. So, and I had a different attitude and mindset that everybody else did. So everybody was always clinging to me, but bitches didn't like me at the same time. So they was just like, oh, we don't like her because she's pretty, she long hair, and she don't take nobody's shit. Like, she just didn't give a fuck. So, and I wasn't one that needed friends. So I don't care. I could be rocking myself. So that's another thing too.
Absolutely. So at some point, like at the beginning of the interview, you said you're from Meadowview.
Right.
Right. So Was there a transition where you technically started actually banging Meadowview, or you were just like most people from Sacramento? You've been from where you've been from since forever.
I mean, I'm always gonna be from Sacramento. That's where I was born and raised. But when I was in Meadowview, like, you know, when you was in junior high, you know how schools used to have like little riots and shit. So like, I used to be on one side of the school, the other side, but we was all in Meadowview still. But at the end of the day, I was the one to be like, okay, I'm on this side. But then I went to that school on that side too that we had to ballot doing. But I had no problem to move in there.
Right.
People were like, oh yeah, you about to move over there? It's gonna be hella problem. But I didn't care. I didn't care about nobody's movement but mine. Right. So ain't nobody gonna stop me from going where I want to go. So if I want to go to that school, I'm gonna go to that school. It is what it is. Y'all don't like me, I don't care. So that's just what it was.
Okay. So I assume you've had a lot of you in school. You ended up getting in a lot of fights then.
A lot of fights, a lot of arguments. A lot of people hated me. A lot of people trying to pull my hair. But I was a hustler there too. Like I used to hustle through school.
What you mean hustle through school?
Like,
I mean, we adults now. I'm sure there's nothing that can incriminate you now.
No. Like, okay, so you know how like back in the day when we was in junior high, you know how they had little lunch tokens. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I didn't eat lunch. My parents always had food in the refrigerator, so I always made sure that I brought my own lunch. I'm not eating what they want to do it, but I used to just stack up every day. They used to give me the little things, and I used to buy from other people. I'd give them whatever they wanted from what I used to bring at home from home, and I used to stack on them and just sell them to the people that their parents could. I mean, you know, had the money, but they didn't want to buy them. So I just, you know, sold them.
Okay, so I'm assuming that at some point this hustling transitioned from school to the streets.
For sure.
For sure. So you out in the streets. We out of school now. We adults. What, like, is there anything that you could say was a pivotal moment in you being a child to starting to think like an adult? Or like this shit is real? It's not for play?
Yeah. When I was 15. I was 15 and I was on this. I was in a car that I wasn't supposed to be in. I knew I wasn't supposed to be in that car, but you know, like when you live that life, you can't just say, okay, now we about to get in trouble on this shit. Oh, I'm about to just jump out. Okay, when I jump out, you're gonna have to pay the consequence if you get caught. So I decided not to jump out. I'm like, oh no, I ain't about to be running. Like nigga, just keep going. Like that's what it was. So it ended up being from somebody from the other side started chasing us and they started bucking at us. And we had to run into my apartment house, so we ended up going into a pole. So after that happened, it changed me. My whole mindset was different because I felt like it was going to be my life or theirs. Mind you, I didn't carry nothing at that time. Like, I didn't do none of that. So my mentality was just to make sure that I got in there. So I had to get out the car, just run and do all that, jump fence, all type of shit. But
okay, so you kind of felt like that was something that was like a life-changing situation because it was actually life-threatening because they were busting at you.
Right.
Okay, so did this, like, make you decide, like, maybe you needed to have it on you at this time?
Oh, for sure. Like, that's what made me actually really get into the whole, I can't, there's no turning back from this. Because I didn't like that feeling, so me feeling like they was able to take my life and I was able to defend myself, I felt like that was kind of like some punk shit. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going out like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it falls with our family roots. Like, you know, it was how we was raised. Like how I was raised was like, don't fear nobody. Don't give a fuck about nobody. Or don't let nobody ever make you feel like they're threatening you. Like you didn't understand, like that's just how it was.
All right, understandable. So, at some point, as a youngster, okay, so wait, you said you were 15 when that incident happened?
Mm-hmm. Almost 16.
Okay, almost 16. So, did you have any more trips to juvenile after that?
Yeah, I did. So, after that incident, I had went to school and I started carrying a knife.
Okay.
And I had money on me all the time. So, back then, like if you had too much money, they had to take it from you and call your parents.
Okay.
So it was an incident that they had called my mom, but how they found out that I had the knife is when they asked me to empty my pockets and they had to call the police and ask them to get it from me because I told them, I'm like, this is my show, like, you feel me? Like, I'm not giving you my money, like, it's my money, like, why do y'all worry about what's in my pocket? Like, especially if y'all not my parents. So at the end of the day, I felt like ain't nobody can say shit to me. So if it ain't my mom or my daddy, like, I'm not gonna listen to you. So they was like, give it to me or we're gonna call the police. I said, go ahead, call the police then.
Right.
Like they gonna have to get it from me. So me being defiant with the police, it ended up making me go back to the home.
And what was the just for the defiance?
Just the defiance of me not listening to an officer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know how that goes, people. So let's go ahead and jump ahead, man, to adulthood. No, let's first of all, let's jump ahead to adulthood. Okay, everybody. So just so you guys don't know, man, this is my cousin. This is my female cousin. My cousin, period. Yeah, real cousin. Just in case you don't know. And when she said, you know how we was raised, she tried to correct herself. But yeah, that's part of the information that I wanted to make sure I share with you guys. I was holding out for a minute because I wanted to make it a little more interesting. But let's go ahead and get into the fact that you was in the streets. You was in the streets as an adult. You was in the streets doing your thing. You know, whatever you was doing. What were you doing that you can share, obviously, to survive?
I was hustling. Like, my mentality at 18, like, this is like 2002, 2003. That was the box era. Motherfuckers that had rims, all that shit. I was in there. I loved that lifestyle. So I knew if I wanted to be with everybody else, especially it was really the niggas. Like, I really just was like, I wasn't in the female role. Like, I felt like I was trapped like a bitch, but I was really a nigga in the inside because I had a mentality like, oh, okay, that nigga can hustle, I can hustle too. So everything that these niggas was starting to get boxes and all this shit, I did the rims, I did all that shit. So they was like, hold on, like, and that's a lot of things too. A lot of bitches was like, find this bitch in the middle with all the boxes, all the TVs, the Nintendo games, playing fucking Playboy on the TV screens. Like, I did all that. Like, I really thought I was really a nigga. So I really just, I didn't care. So
those of y'all who don't know what a box is, we talking about box shafts. And it's basically a Chevy Caprice Classic. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, that's what a box is. You can go.
I actually had a Delta 88.
She had a Delta, but it looked just the same as a box shaft, pretty much. My pops had a Delta 88. Patoto had a Delta 88. But yeah, just so you guys don't know what a box is, there you go, your information. So you don't got to hit me in the comment box about what's a box. So you out there, you living like a nigga, but you not gay.
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, I had hella bitches trying to get at me, but nah. I don't do no looking up. Nah.
Okay. Now, respectful. I just know the questions are gonna come up, so I'm gonna ask them as they go.
Oh no.
So you out there, you hustling. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly. They're gonna be like, what you do to hustle, but you ain't gotta go into nothing you ain't want to go into. You was getting money. However, you was getting money in the streets. But you was also gangbanging, right?
I wouldn't call it gangbanging. I just lived a life of no shit, no snitching, regardless of what it was. So let me just go back. So at the age of 18, I had 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
I had a baby at 16. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to go back, bro.
Go ahead, right now.
Okay, so I had a baby at 16. I was going to Valley. So when I was pregnant, I didn't even know that I was pregnant. I was on a volleyball team. I ended up going for the ball, and that's how I found out I was pregnant. But it wasn't even like it was just unexpected. So after I had my son, everything changed for me because I felt like I had to grind harder because his father wasn't there. So at the end of the day, I felt like, I had to do it. So everything I felt like my son was never want nothing. And that was just because how we was raised. Like, our family, we never needed for shit. You feel me? And that was because of our parents. So our parents always put it in that we always had to take care of what it was ours. So at the end of the day, when I was 16, I didn't really care about nothing but taking care of my son. I didn't really care about school. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I gotta go make some money for my son to have these new Jordans, or go behind Florida Mall and just be sitting outside. You feel me? So that's the era that I was in. So that's just my mentality. That's where I was. So I was doing that. Yeah. So then at 18, I gotta tell you an incident that I had. I was messing with somebody. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but the FBI was looking for the nigga. So they came to my apartment. Was like, hey, look, we know that you fucking with blood. Whatever. And I was just like, okay, cool. They was like, so if we catch him with you, you know you're going down. It's, what is that shit called? Something after the fact?
Accessory after the fact?
Accessory after the fact. I don't even know nothing about it. I didn't care. Mind you, I'm fresh 18. How I met the nigga is because I was selling in these apartments, and the nigga told me that I had to leave. I told the nigga I'm not leaving. He was like, well, there's just not no bitch without asking no permission to sell in here. I said, what you talking about? I'm from here, so this is my hood, so I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. He was like, but where did you come from? So then I told him where. I was like, nigga, I came from right here. He was like, oh, you from 65? I said, yeah, I'm from 65. What you mean? I live on Fair right there for 16 years. So what you mean? So then that's how I got it. But let's go forward. The FBI ended up coming. They was trying to hit my door. They wasn't in there. I had to stick my sons, both of my sons. My son was one and 2. I had to stick them in the dryer. Because the FBI had my whole house surrounded because somebody had did a tip, whatever, saying, hey, look, her nigga there now. So they ended up surrounding my whole little apartment. So I had to hit the lights off. So the police tried to kick the door, and I kicked the door in and put this brick thing on, like behind the, it's not really like a brick thing, like, you know, the things that go on the fence. Like, you know, them old school.
Like the center block?
Yeah. So I implanted it into the thing so they couldn't come in. So I hit all the lights off. All we see is beams in the windows. All you see is just the beams for the windows. So I guess what? My kids, I put them in the dryer. They was like, what the fuck? They was like, why you turn the lights off? I said, but you're not shooting my son. I can't shoot my kids. I felt like it was a survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fucked up because my mentality should never been like that. But it's like, I just never, I don't think the same as anybody else. I had my own mentality in my own mind for whatever reason, but that's what it was. So, yeah, the FBI came, they kicked down the thing, busted the window, they came in there and got it, but they found my kids in the dryer. And they was like, where your kids? I was like, look in the dryer. And I was like, what the fuck, who puts their kids in the dryer? I said, who lets their kids put beans on them? Like, I'm not set up that way, so let me get my kids out the dryer. But I was already handcuffed and everything. It was like they opened the dryer, my sons was safe and everything. So at the end of the day, that was just what it was.
I've been on my shit lately. Running up a bag, I need my chips, baby. Never let a bitch play me. She just wanna smash, but this dick ain't free. I be on the road tryna lock it in. Talking on the phone when I'm clocking in.